My mom called me by my childhood nickname yesterday. She only does that when she's in danger and can't say it out loud. When I was 9, I wandered away from my mom in a crowded parking garage, and a man in a gray coat followed me for 2 floors before she found me. At night, she held my hands and told me that if she ever called me Sparrow again, it would not be because she loved me. It would mean I was in danger, or she was, and that I had to get help without letting my face change. She made me repeat it until I had it memorized. Then I grew up and forgot it was ever real. I'm 37 now. My mom hadn't called me Sparrow in almost 30 years. So when she called me last Tuesday, with her caregiver Sloan laughing somewhere behind her and said, "Hi Sparrow, I just wanted to hear your voice," every muscle in my body locked up. Her tone was light. She sounded happy. Sloan said something cheerful about lunch in the background, but my mom had used the word that was never affection, the word that meant she couldn't tell me the truth with someone listening. I made myself keep breathing. I asked about her hip and made small talk, laughing in the right places while my mind raced. Sloan had come into my mom's life 8 months ago, right after the fall that cracked her hip. A private caregiver, warm and patient with glowing references. At first she was a relief. My mom needed help I couldn't give from 3 states away, and Sloan seemed to adore her. Then the small things started. My mom stopped picking up the phone. When I called, Sloan answered and said she was resting or having a bad day. Mom's cell number changed, and nobody told me why. Every visit I proposed was postponed. She was too tired, not up to guests. Her oldest friends said they had stopped coming by because Sloan told them the visits overwhelmed her. When I raised it with my mom months back, she laughed and said I worried too much, that Sloan was an angel. Now my mother was calling me Sparrow. I said I had to run and hung up, and I opened the location app we had shared for years. Her phone pinged from her house, 200 miles north. I didn't text. I didn't call back. I got in my car and drove. I parked the street over and texted that I was passing through and wanted to drop off flowers. The reply came fast. "That's lovely, but today isn't good. We're busy." I wrote that I was already outside. I watched the typing dot start and stop 6 times. Then one line. "Use the side gate by the garden. It's unlocked. Hurry." The gate opened into the yard she used to garden in. She was standing inside the sunroom door, alone, and pulled me into a hug so hard my ribs ached. When she let go, her eyes were streaming. She whispered that we had 10 minutes, that Sloan had gone to sign paperwork and would be back to take her somewhere. She looked at the ceiling and dropped her voice. "Sloan keeps my phone in her bag. She holds all my pills and only gives me some of them. She had me sign papers I couldn't read without my glasses, and now she says she speaks for me. There are cameras in the hallway. This room doesn't have one. That's why I told you to come here." She talked fast. Sloan had changed over the last 2 months. Sweet in front of others, cold and sharp when alone. She had moved money out of the accounts and taken my grandmother's rings for safekeeping. Last week, my mom tried to call her sister, and Sloan ripped the phone away and cracked it against the counter, then spent an hour stroking her hair and apologizing. But my mother had seen her face in that first second. It wasn't care. It was contempt. Today, Sloan was moving her to a facility 2 hours away that none of us would ever find. She had remembered the word from the garage and waited for the one moment Sloan stepped out. I told her we were walking out the gate right now. She shook her head, frightened. "My medication, my papers, my mother's rings, everything is in this house." I held both her hands. "Things can be replaced. There is no version of this where I leave you here." From the front of the house, I heard a car door shut. Her whole face drained. We had maybe 2 minutes. I pulled her through the sunroom and out the gate, and she stumbled once and kept up. We crossed the grass to my car, and I locked the doors just as Sloan came around the corner. She saw my mom in the passenger seat. She saw me. For half a second, her face went flat and ugly. Then the warm mask slid back, and she walked toward us smiling. She tapped my window with one knuckle, still smiling. "Where are we off to?" "Your mother has an appointment. She gets anxious when her routine changes and doesn't always understand what's happening." My mom stared straight ahead, crying without sound. I started the engine and cracked the window 2 inches. "If she doesn't understand what's happening, she can be evaluated by her own doctor, with her family in the room, not by you." A smile twitched. "That's really not your decision. I put the car in drive. It isn't yours either. Come near her again, and Adult Protective Services, her real attorney, and the police will read every paper you made her sign. Stay away from my mother." I drove off while she stood in the driveway, shrinking in my mirror.